Morning, everybody. How you all doing? Please confirm if it is okay. If it is not, so that we can know what to do. We just have to be sure. Yes? What did you say? Okay. So please also confirm that the audio is okay. Is the audio okay? Okay. May I please reduce the volume so that we can start properly? Please reduce the volume. Reduce the volume. Reduce the volume. Okay. Today we are looking at literary appreciation. We all know what we are to expect or what we see whenever we talk about literary appreciation. We are talking about the things that you are likely to see when you're writing the examination. In fact, it is one of the key components of the examination you're writing. In other words, if you fail to do well in understanding everything about literary appreciation, you might find it difficult to score high in this area. Is that okay? So, without much ado, let us look at one or two things that we have learned before because we've taken this before. So we are just going to go through everything. I'll take my time to explain everything one after the other, and I hope we get the best out of this class by the time we are through. So the first one we are looking at, the first literary appreciation we'll be looking at is what? We are looking at what's the first one? Allegory. Allegory. So we'll try as much as possible to look at it in alphabetical order. The first one is allegory. Whenever we talk about allegory, have you heard of allegory before? Now, allegory is a figurative work. Are you with me? It is a figurative work or a figurative writing that has a secondary, metaphorical, or symbolic meaning. So, it is a literary work that has secondary, metaphorical, or symbolic meaning. What you are simply saying is this: what you are saying is not the meaning. Like what you are saying, you are not just picking it at the surface level. You are not just looking at it from the very top. You are looking at, okay, the fact that it has more meaning embedded in it, even more than what you are reading, literally. Is that okay? So, and we know we have different types of allegory. However, the most common of all the allegories is we have the most common is the fable. Fable that makes use of what? That makes use of animal as the what? As the main character. Fables make use of animal as the main character. So, another a very good example of fable or one of those allegory is this Animal Farm by George Orwell. If you read Animal Farm by George Orwell, you discover that every character in it, it is actually talking about a particular revolution in Russia then, and the characters in it were all animals. So the animals were talking as though they were human beings. However, when you see them, when you see the attitude of those animals, you discover that it was portraying one or two things about a particular personality, an individual, or a character in the real life in that particular event. Is that okay? So that is the first part. The second part of it is which one again? Yes. Okay. Yes. What's the next one? No.
Alliteration.
Alliteration. Whenever we talk about alliteration, some of us we normally find it difficult to understand that alliteration is not repetition of consonant letters. There is difference between repetition of consonant letters and repetition of consonant sound. Repetition of consonant letters, you are looking at maybe T, 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 T in everything. What of a situation where you have PH starting words like philosophy and you have F starting words like farm? So alliteration could be that you have different letters, but You know, those letters combined or separately or distinctly, they are all forming a particular sound. So whenever we talk about alliteration, alliteration is the repetition of similar consonant sound. The repetition of what? Similar consonant sound in a poetic line or in a nearby line of a poem. Repetition of similar consonant sound. So the consonant sound has to be what? It has to be similar. A very good example is, let us say we have let us say we have, and although this is not really alliteration, but Father Francis fried five fresh fishes for five favorite friends. Repetition of F, but you are not expected to see just like that. Are you with me?
Yes,
You are
sir.
not expected to see it just like that. So maybe the whole event was mind blowing for the boys in the wilderness. The whole you have WHO event was, although that WHO and you have was, you might look at it, but there is repetition of WWW. Another one could be maybe female are expected to be the best version of female are expected to be the best version of beautiful creature. You have best, beautiful. That BB. So if they are to make reference to the B, then you should consider it to be an alliteration. Yes, I am trying to. So this is what I will do. I will. So that is that about that. So what is the next one? The next one we have to look at is
Assonance.
again
Assonance.
assonance. Although we have allusion, we have to talk about allusion before we move into that. Whenever we talk about allusion, what comes to your mind? Allusion is to allude, to make reference to something. Are you with me? To allude, to make reference to something. So when you are making reference to something, it is allusion. Are you there? When you are making reference to something, to someone, to a place, to an event, are you with me? As if that thing is present, it is called allusion. However, there is need for you to understand. Most especially see allusion, this allusion that we are talking about, it is mostly in a write-up, it is mostly in a literary text. Are you with me? There is a very important need, there is a need for you to understand that allusion generally, whenever you are making use of allusion in your work, whenever you are making use of allusion in your work, your reader, the people that are your reader, or the readers rather, they must have perfect knowledge. They must have what? Perfect knowledge of what you are making reference to. A very good example of allusion is people say, "Oh, he offered me $10 to let out the secret of the office. Perhaps he thought I was a Judas." That is an allusion. He offered me $10 to let out the secret of the office. Perhaps he thought I was a Judas. That he thought I was a Judas is actually an allusion to Judas Iscariot in the Bible. So if you have to look at it, it is giving us a picture or a painting of betrayal. Am I making any sense? It is giving us the picture or a painting of betrayal. Perhaps he thought I was going to betray my office. Perhaps he thought I was going to betray my organization. So imagine if you are making reference to something in the Bible and you are making reference, no, it is in a work that you have presented or that you have prepared for people that do not have any inclination of what is in the Bible. People that do not have any inclination of what is in the Bible. What do you think will happen? They will be completely lost. So I am quickly brushing through this so that we'll take some past questions. So that is what allusion is all about. You can also think of other allusions and drop it in the comments. So what is the next one? What is the next one?
Assonance.
Assonance. When we talk about assonance, what comes to your mind? Assonance is assonance is the repetition of similar vowel sounds. Repetition of what? Similar vowel sounds. So when vowel sounds that are similar, when they are repeated, When vowel sounds that are similar, when they are repeated in a, it does not matter. Don't forget that I said, please hold this. Don't forget that I told you that alliteration, the consonant sound must be at the initial stage. I am coming back to that. The repetition of consonant sound, it has to be at the initial stage. That is the very beginning of the word in question. The very beginning of the word in question. But when we talk about assonance, it is repetition of similar vowel sounds. So the arrangement where the vowel sounds, where they are, does not matter. But for alliteration, it has to be at the very beginning. Am I making any sense?
Yes.
It has to be where? At the very beginning. So repetition of similar vowel sound is assonance, while repetition of similar consonant sound, but the consonant sound will be at the initial stage of the word. Is that taken? So let us move to the next one. What's the next one?
Battles.
The next one is what?
Battles.
Whenever we talk about battles, what does it mean? Whenever we talk about battles, what does it mean? Battles is when you make an unintentional descent. You make an what? Unintentional descent. That is, you are making the descent in such a way that you are starting from the most important and you are coming to the least in a way that it will sound ridiculous. Do you understand? In a way that it will do what? It will sound ridiculous. You started with something huge, but as you have started with, what is huge? You started it and you now begin to make it now begin to come down, and in the whole of the whole thing, you then discover that it is sounding extremely ridiculous. For example, if someone says, to God, to England, and to, you understand, to God, to England, and to, let us say, to Gatwick. Gatwick is one of those, you are starting from God, bigger than everything, then to England, then to Gatwick. Are you with me? Then it is an unintentional descent. Another one is a very good example. The widow lost everything. She lost her husband, her house, and her sewing machine,
and her
hearing. Imagine, she lost her husband, her house, her sewing machine, and hearing. You understand? That is another. If you actually lost everything, if you lose everything, if the moment you have lost your husband, it implies that you've lost almost everything, even the home. Then not to talk of the sewing machine, and then coming down to our hearing, like that is very, very little compared to whatever anyone should have thought of. So that is an unintentional descent, and it is called what? Battles. We are going to see some questions that will shed more light on this. So what is the next one, please? Bildungsroman. It is simply a novel of development. Are you with me? Or a novel of growth. So it shows us the developmental stage of the protagonist or the main character from infant to adulthood. From where? From infant to adulthood. Is that okay? That is Bildungsroman. 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 So what is the next one? Euphemism. So when we talk about euphemism is very simple and straightforward. Euphemism is, for example, let me give you a very good example so that you have that at the back of your mind forever. Maybe someone died. Are you with me? Maybe someone died. The person is so dear to you, and you are afraid to break the news just as it sounds or just as it should sound to someone that is close to the person. Just maybe you are looking at the fact that, okay, if this news is broken in this manner that I want to break it, what will happen? How will this person feel? Are you with me? How will this person feel? Maybe you do not want the person to be heartbroken. Maybe you do not want the person to be depressed or to just burst into tears and start, creating unnecessary drama. So you now look for a way to present that news in a way that the person will not at first take it to heart. Although yes, maybe the person will now, we just talked about death, the person might be crying later, but to save yourself of the drama, To save yourself of the drama that is likely to occur, you make use of what? Euphemism. So instead of saying, oh, she died, you can just say she kicked the bucket. Are you with me? You can just say she kicked the bucket. Another one that you are supposed to, okay, let us look at it from this perspective. Imagine that we have this example. After all the toils and struggles of this world, the billionaire silently passed away last night. After all the toil and troubles of this world, the billionaire silently passed away last night. What we are saying here is that the billionaire died. Oh, sorry, are we supposed to use that word on YouTube? Okay, the billionaire died. You understand?
Yeah.
So you did not want to say that, okay, the billionaire, but you understand what I'm talking about. But you decided to say the billionaire died. So, but you, instead of saying died, you decided to say he silently passed away. That is euphemism. Do you understand? That is so when we are to ask ourselves what is euphemism, you simply say euphemism is when harsh words are replaced with mild ones. Are you with me? When something that is supposed to be harsh is replaced with what? Mild one. So let us move to the next one. What is the next one?
Hyperbole.
Hyperbole, not hyperbole. Hyperbole, everyone knows this. When you talk about exaggeration, when you talk about exaggeration, when you talk about exaggeration, you are simply talking about hyperbole. You are simply talking about what? Hyperbole. When you talk about exaggeration, it is simply hyperbole. Is that taken? And it has opposites, which is litotes. Litotes. The opposite of hyperbole is litotes. That is understatement. Litotes, understatement. Litotes, understatement. So let us move to the next one. What's the next one? Okay, maybe I should give you an example of. Let me give you an example of hyperbole and litotes. So a very good example of hyperbole is I can finish a mountain of fufu. Dearest, how manage? How? Why? When? Where? You can finish a mountain of fufu. Is fufu even supposed to have a mountain? Are you with me? Or is fufu? Is there a way that you mold fufu that it will not turn to a mountain? Is that taken? That is one. And another one is this. Another one is this. The sunshine in a smile, or the sunshine of a smile melts my heart. It is not possible for a lady to have sunshine in her smile.
Such was her beauty, it made me crazy.
Exactly, another one. Such was her beauty that it made men crazy. Are you with me? So it is not possible for a lady to have sunshine in her smile. It is an hyperbole. Are you with me? Or for someone's beauty to make men crazy, it is also what? An hyperbole. So let us move to the next one. But for litotes, so we are looking at understatement. Now, this understatement, if you are not mistaken, you might be tempted to think that it is something close to, it is something close to maybe bathos. You understand? But it is not bathos. Bathos is an unintentional descent. But litotes is, and you might also want to think that it is close to euphemism. In fact, they are miles apart. Are you with me? They are what? Miles apart. Litotes, something that, oh, is totally out of this world happened. But you just make, you make it look so little as if it is normal. For example, two people engage themselves in a fight. One broke the head of the other with bottle. This one did this one did that. You understand those things? And blood was everywhere. Arm was everywhere. So after the whole thing, someone asked from someone that was there that saw the whole thing that happened and said, what happened? And the person just said, oh, what happened? Oh, it was actually a bitter spill of beer. Like beer. to be spilled. It was a bitter spill of there. That is mitosis. Am I making any sense? That is what? Mitosis. So let us move to the next one. What's the next one? Personification. Whenever we talk about personification, it is simply adding human characteristics or human features to what?
Inanimate objects.
To inanimate objects. What should be exhibited by human being, you are adding it or you are applying it or you are attributing it to inanimate objects. That is personification. The sun is smiling. How can sun smile? The leaves are clapping. The moon is smiling. You know those little ones? When we see some examples, you understand. Yeah, the trees are clapping. So those are what? Those are examples of personification. You are attributing human character, human quality. You are attributing it to what? You are attributing it to inanimate objects. Is that taken?
Yeah.
So let us move to the next one. Pathos. Okay, I discussed pathos with you, right? And I told you that there is difference between pathos and bathos. The difference, number one, is not just all about the exchange or interchange of P, that you have P in pathos and you have B in bathos. Now, the difference is when a writer decides to strain so pathetic or inspired in a way that his intention is to evoke a kind of feeling in the reader. That is pathos. Am I making any sense? That is what? Pathos. A very good example is if you read most of Shakespeare's work, you will discover something that when you read to an extent, you will cry. A very good example is Romeo and Juliet. The writer decides to put so many words together in such a way that you are the reader, you are provoked or you are invoked to think or to reason or to act in a particular way. Is that taken? Do you understand?
Yes.
In fact, it is even pathos that when you watch a particular movie, you are so, you are so happy, over the moon. It is still part of pathos because the writer has trained to make you feel in a particular way. When you watch a movie, when you read a book, you just start crying, you just go to say, that is also pathos. Is that taken? Is that taken? So let us move to the next one. Metonymy. Whenever we talk about metonymy, what comes to your mind? Now, please take note of this. Take note of this. We have metonymy. Are you with me? It is substitution. Are you with me? Whenever we talk about metonymy, we are talking about substitution of words or phrase with another. And this word or phrase, they have similar meaning. You are replacing a word or a phrase with another one that has similar meaning with the one you are replacing it with. A very good example is the Queen has refused to recognize the Prime Minister. You can rephrase it as the Crown has refused to recognize the Prime Minister. So you are substituting the word crown for what? You are substituting it for the Queen. Is that a king? Do you understand? Do you understand? So let us move to the next one. Synedoki. It is also substitution. Are you with me? So when you substitute part for the whole, or you substitute whole for part, in fact, it is mostly used in what? It is mostly used in, are you with me? It is mostly used in where? For human parts being substituted. For example, it is, are you with me, guys? For example, you can say that, are you here? You can say that I can see 4 legs dancing. When you see 4 legs dancing, you know that, okay, most likely, definitely, 2 people are dancing, not that 4 legs are dancing. Another example is all Nigerian scientific brains have been what? Have been flown out of the country. All Nigerian scientific brains have been flown out of the country. It is not that someone came and extracted all the brains one after the other. No, the brains were not extracted. What they are simply saying is that The people that are scientists, they've flown out of the country. That is brain drain. What did I call it?
Brain drain.
That is brain drain. So you are using brain to represent human being. Are you with me? You are using brain to represent what? Human being. Now let us move to the next one. What's the next one? Paradox.
No, oxymoron.
Okay, it's oxymoron. Now you see, I think I did that deliberately. Oxymoron, paradox, and which other one?
Antithesis.
And antithesis. I brought these three together in such a way that you'll be able to find the distinguishing factor among them. Now, whenever we talk about oxymoron, we are looking at a situation where you have two contrasting words. Please take note of that. Two what? Contrasting words placed side by side. Two contrasting words. Words that are opposite of each other. You can say word and opposite. You are placing word and opposite side by side. That is what oxymoron. A very good example of oxymoron. Are you with me? A very good example of oxymoron is that to depart is a sweet bitter experience. To depart is a what? Sweet bitter experience. You are having sweet and bitter, you are having it placed side by side. That is what? That is oxymoron. Another one is the man decided to hide in the safety dangerous corner of the house. Are you with me? In the safety dangerous corner of the house. That is, he's hiding in a place that nobody can see him. However, that place is dangerous. Maybe it is at the very top of the roof. Or better still, maybe there is something that might question his state of being by the time he's through with the whole activity. Am I making any sense at all? So that is what oxymoron. Oxymoron is simply placing of or placement of two contrasting words side by side. What did I say? Placement of two contrasting words side by side. But when we talk about antithesis from the word thesis, These, when we talk about antithesis, what comes to your mind? We have, thesis, statement. It could be phrase, it could be clause, it could be a complete sentence. Are you with me? When you have statement, phrase, clause, and they are different, and they are placed side by side in a way that they reveal truth, certain truth to you. That is antithesis. Are you with me? That is what antithesis. For example, someone once said, and if marriage has pains, then celibacy does not have any gain. Are you with me? So you have marriage. Don't forget, marriage has a lot of pain, but celibacy has no gain. Yes, we know that marriage is a state whereby husband or a man and a woman will come together and become husband and wife. And celibacy is a state in which you decide as an individual to stay away from any sexual activities. And marriage is what? Is all about sexual intercourse that will eventually lead to the procreation of children or of offspring. So you are not looking at it. Marriage has no pain. No, marriage has a lot of pain, rather. Marriage has a lot of pain, but celibacy has no gain. Marriage has a lot of pain, but celibacy has no gain. That is antithesis. You can see, marriage has a lot of pain. A statement that is totally contrasting to celibacy. You have marriage and celibacy side by side. That is antithesis. So what is the next one? So when we talk about paradox, you are talking about a statement that on its surface or on the surface, it contradicts itself. A statement that when you look at it on the surface, the statement is looking like it is contradicting itself. But the truth is, it is not just contradicting, it is not contradicting itself. It is literally looking like it is contradicting itself, but it is exposing us to things that we should know. It is revealing truth. Is that taking? It is revealing what? The truth. So let us see an example of paradox. For example, we have the boy. The child is the what? Is the father of the man. The child is the father of the man. In a way, we might look at it and say, is it possible that the child becomes the father of the man? And you might want to ask yourself that question. But when you look at it deeply, you understand that it is possible that the man we are talking about has grown so old that the child is now the one taking care of him. Do you understand? Do you know that there is a stage in which you have grown, you grow to a particular stage where you will not be able to act the way you should have acted as a grown-up man. You'll not be acting like a baby. So in that situation, it is your children or your child that will be responsible for your upkeep. So it is then not an overstatement to say that you, being the child, you are the what? You are the father or the mother of your parents. So let us move to the next one. The next one, synesthesia. Whenever we talk about synesthesia, when you attribute the quality or the of a particular sensation, you attribute it to another one. Maybe you are saying, the music is sweet, or I love sweet music. Music cannot be sweet for crying out loud. Anything sweet is meant for the tongue. But in a situation where you are making use of that, it is called synesthesia. It is called what? Synesthesia. Let us move to the next one.
Irony.
Oh, whenever we talk about irony, what comes to your mind is when the surface word, are you with me, or the phrase, the clause, the sentence, when the meaning is direct opposite, when the intended meaning is direct opposite of what is written, when the intended meaning is the direct opposite of what is meant, that is an irony. So you can have verbal irony and you can have what? Situational irony. Verbal irony has to do with what? With words of mouth. Situational irony has to do with what? With events, things that happen. Maybe you acted in a way, and that was not what you actually meant. You did not mean to appear that way. You did not mean to, to behave that way. But maybe people just got it wrong. They misinterpreted everything that happened around you. That is situational irony. Let us move to the next one. So we have metaphor. Whenever we talk about metaphor, everybody knows this. Metaphor is simply, it is what? Metaphor is when you are making direct comparison between two things that are not alike, but you are not making use of like or as. When you make comparison between two things, and these two things, they are not in any way related, but as they are not in any way related, you are still making sure that you are not making use of as or like you are just saying, hey, you're a goat. Human being, calling human being a goat, that is metaphor. It is metaphorical. You are not saying that the person is a goat. Are you with me? You are not saying that the person has turned to that animal that is stubborn. You are simply saying that the person behaves like a goat, but you have exempted the use of as or like. Are we on the same page? Are we on the same page? So what is the next one? Onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia. Now, when we talk about onomatopoeia, just know that it has to do with sound. It has to do with what? Sound. When the sound of a word, or when a word, or the sound of a word, when it suggests its meaning, that is onomatopoeia. When the sound of a word suggests its meaning. Example is boom, zoom, bang, clang. You understand? Those are what? Those are onomatopoeia. The sound suggests the meaning of that particular word. We saw the car zoomed. Okay, the car zoomed off. Okay, another one is in the poem of is it Niyi or Shudari, the government driver on his retirement. He said, "A boost his vision. Boost his vision." Boost there is onomatopoeia because it could actually be suggesting the alcohol, and it could be the state of being intoxicated. Are you with me? It could be the state of being what? Intoxicated. So let us move to the next one. The next one, please. Yes? Parable. Oh, everybody knows parable. When you make use of, parable basically is just to teach what? Is to teach moral. Are you with me? And we know of so many parables. The one in the Bible, that is parable, the parable of the sower. Have you heard of the parable of the sower? The prodigal son. You understand? And beatitude. I think beatitude is also parable. Another one. Can you give me the lost sheep, the lost coin? Those are parables in the Bible. And parable is mostly found in the Bible. So what is the next one? Pun. P-U-N. P-U-N. Whenever we talk about pun, we are simply talking about this way in which you play on word. You are playing on word. Are you with me? You are doing what? You are playing on word. What you are actually saying is different from what is written, and it is different from what people are thinking. For example, the pastor prayed on the lady until she became poor. The kind of prayer that we are talking about here is totally different from the kind of prayer that everyone should expect from a pastor. But the prayer that we saw here is P-R-E-Y. But when you read it on the surface, you just think that, oh, yes, it is the duty of the pastor to pray. But how can a pastor pray on someone and then the person becomes poor? The pastor prayed on the lady until she became poor. But we are simply, the meaning of that is that we are saying that the pastor took advantage of that lady until she lost everything in her bank account. You understand? Duped the lady until she lost everything in her bank account. So what is the next one? Rhetorical question. Any question that does not require an answer, any question at all that does not require an answer is a rhetorical question. A question that you already know the meaning. You already know the answer to. It is only being asked for the sake of emphasis. It is only being asked for the sake of what? Emphasis. That is rhetorical question. What is the next one?
Simile.
Simile. Whenever we talk about simile and metaphor should be placed side by side. Both of them are what? They are comparison of two unlike things. However, metaphor will not make use of the word as, A-S, and the word like, L-I-K-E. But simile will make use of these two. Is that taken? She's as beautiful as a deer. She's as beautiful as a deer, or she's as beautiful as a gazette. That is simile. You are using as. She's just like my mother. She and your mother like. Yeah, you are using like, and that is simile, not simile. So what's the next one? What did you? What's the next one? What's the next one? Ambiguity, yes. Whenever we talk about ambiguity, it is when a statement is not clear, or when a literary work is having second meaning, or it is open to more than one meaning. When a particular statement is open to more than one meaning, or it is not clear, that is ambiguity. But you need to understand this. You need to understand that ambiguity in science is a fault. What did I say?
Ambiguity in science is a fault.
Ambiguity in science work. Maybe in scientific fiction, ambiguity in scientific fiction is a fault. Because you cannot have a statement that is open to more than one meaning, and anything you are writing in science has to be cleared. But in literature, ambiguity is not a fault. In fact, it is the beauty of literature. It is the what? The beauty of literature. It adds color, it adds aesthetics to literature. Do you understand? So what is the next one?
Illusion.
Illusion. Illusion. Illusion. So, what is illusion? Let us. We talked about illusion. if you are looking at illusion, maybe you want to talk. Maybe you want to talk about something. No reference. It is apostrophe. Allusion is reference to someone. And maybe when you are talking to something that is absent, you did not even talk about apostrophe. When you are talking, when you are making reference, or when you are talking now, apostrophe, you are talking to something that is not present as if it is present. Do you understand? Talking to something or someone, or talking to an abstraction as if that thing is present. However, it is not present. It is not in any way present. That is apostrophe. For example, maybe someone died, and in the process of crying and doing every other thing, expressing your sadness, and so just say, death! You did this. Can you see death? That is an abstraction. Death is an abstraction. You understand? You can't see it. But you are talking, the way the person is talking, it's as if the person can see death. Is that taking? That is what? That is apostrophe. It can also be called illusion. She said it can also be called illusion. Now you can link. That is linking. So the next one. Are you with me? No. The next one is Zugma. Zeugma. Have you heard of it before? Yes. Whenever, yes? We'll still talk about those. Whenever we talk about Zugma, what comes to your mind? When you use a particular verb to refer to two different events or to two different things. Are you with me? A particular verb is used for what? Two different things. So two different things. And another one is, are you with me? Another one is anaphora. Anaphora. Have you seen it? Oh, you are looking for Zugma here.
Yes.
You can't see it. It is not here. It is not here. Another one is anaphora. Now, what comes to your mind whenever you hear anaphora?
Describe as a poem that repeats.
When you have a poem, that's what?
A word or line.
A word or line of a poem.
At the end.
Uh-huh.
One at the end
Is starting. Yes. So what we are saying is this, so that you not be lost. You have a particular word that ends a line of a poem, but that same word that ends the line of the poem is starting the next one. Are you with me? It could be a word, it could be a phrase. That is what? Anaphora. That is what? Anaphora. Which other one have we not talked about that have taken? Innuendo. It is not part of it. It is not part of what we should be learning for the sake of this class. I've talked about apostrophe. Satire. And we know what satire is now. Whenever we talk about satire, what comes to your mind? Satire is when we say something is satirical, we simply, what we are saying is, it is laughable in a way. However, it is painting the social ills. It is painting what is not supposed to be. Is that taken? So satire could be a form of it, could be a kind of form of irony rather, but it is painting the societal ill, or better still, a kind of praise. Are you with me? A kind of unsincere praise. Is that sarcasm? Sarcasm is unsincere praise. Sarcasm is unsincere praise that is passed on someone just to reveal the person's fault. That is sarcasm. Are you with me? Are you with me? So, I think we have gone so far. We've gone so far, and we've been able to cover so much. And we are going to come to the end of this. So, next time we are going to pick other ones. And by the time we begin other ones, it should be that we are solving past questions. We are solving what? Past questions. So,
end stop.
we discussed that end stop is simply full stop, Abby.
Yes.
That is in a poem. Are you with me? And we also talked about enjambment. Enjambment is when the idea in a particular line spills to the next line. That is enjambment. Is that taken? So thank you. Now let us